Hello. So, I like to make these skill review videos to replace some of the lecture you're missing out on in class, some conversations that I have. I don't like to make my lectures really long, so I try to make these skill videos kind of short. So, with skill 4 and skill 5, it's all about producing graphical displays and numerical summaries. So, those are the two things I'm looking to see if you have proficiency or mastery on these. And I'll explain the difference between proficiency and mastery as I go through this. Okay, so really determining the type of numerical summary or graphical summary comes down to whether the variable is categorical or quantitative. If it's categorical, we're going to make like a pie chart or bar graph to summarize it graphically, and we'll write about like percentages or relative frequencies or decimals, fractions. Versus quantitative, we want to focus on the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, IQR range to numerically summarize it, and we'll make histograms, dot plots, or box plots to graphically summarize it. So I'm not going to use the same data that you are using on your project, but I'm going to use a different data, which is the Spotify data that I have here. And there's lots of variables in this Spotify data, and this is a sample of the top songs from all the years from 2010 to 2019. I just took a random sample of the songs to kind of analyze it, and you see that there's all these lists of variables up here. Okay. So this asked me to analyze two different variables. And when you do your project, you're asked to analyze two different variables from this data set. I think I'll do that at the end. Okay. So here, my first variable is artist type. And when I see artist type, I think that's categorical. My next variable is beats per minute, which I think is quantitative, numerical. Let's just check the data to make sure we're okay. All right, so I'm checking out the data, and I see that artist type, it's using words to explain what that variable is. So yeah, that is categorical. And I'm going to look for beats per minute. That's just right here. And I see that beats per minute is numerical. So I was right. Okay. So now I'm going to make a graph for this categorical variable. So the best way to do that when you're dealing with the data that I give you, if you click on the letter at the top, it highlights the whole thing. Now you can drag and drop. You can drag this down, but you can see on my computer, it's already stopping at the bottom. So if you want to highlight the whole column, just click on the letter at the top and copy it. So I hit Command C on my computer, or you can go here and copy it. Okay. But if you have a Windows, you have to hit Control C. That might help. But you want to copy the data. Okay. You can also right click and copy. And you want to paste it into the apps that I give you, these free stat apps. And since this is a categorical variable, I'm going to use this app right here. I'm going to type in individual observations. I'm going to paste that in. I'm going to go right here and delete that out. Now I want to change the variables here because it says primary food choice. So I'm going to say artist type. I like to make it color, so I'm going to say, give me color bars. I'm also going to make a pie chart because that calculates the percentages for me. And I'm going to edit the title, so we have the bar graph of artist type. And I can change that here to Spotify artist type. I do want to see the context there, but it doesn't always have to be perfect. Okay. So we see that from these popular songs on Spotify, that what's the most common type? Well, I see that it appears to be solo artists, right? 75.2. Second most popular are artists that are in a band or a group. Then we got duos and trios here. But what I want to summarize, you don't have to summarize every percentage. If you do, that's fine. But now look right here. This happens to a lot of students that when they make a graphical summary, they leave the title in the data. You'll notice that when I did this, I took the data and I went to the top and I made sure that the title that I copied, this title right here, was not included in it. So I removed it. So you got to sometimes double check your data. If you're seeing the title right here, and this student didn't change the label here, primary food choice, they didn't change the label here. So their graph has a few mistakes. I think overall they get it right. And so when we summarize this, we see that most of the popular songs on Spotify are from solo artists, which is 75%. So this is 75%, which is almost 5 times larger as the next most popular artist type, which are songs from bands and groups. Okay. So that is a summary where I'm providing numerical summaries. I really, to get the difference between proficiency and mastery is to give me a comparative sentence like this. When you can tell me, what I did is I just divided 75 by 16.3, and I saw that it was like 4.7. And so that's almost 5 times bigger. This group here, 5 times as many solo songs as band group songs. Okay, but proficiency, if you make your graphs, you just have a few little errors, and maybe you forgot your sentence there about comparative, but you do give me a percentage. I'm probably going to show that you're proficient, that you did a pretty good job. You can just clarify it a little bit more. Okay, so that's S4. Skill 5, this is skill 6, where we're comparing distributions, but we want to think about quantitative data, whether we use the mean or the median, the standard deviation of IQR, z-scores to find outliers. So with this, I want to summarize the quantitative variable. So I want to use the links here to summarize the quantitative variable. So I'm going to go to this app. I'm going to click on the top. It's telling me to do beats per minute. Okay. So I'm going to copy and paste beats per minute. I go here. I'm going to use my own. Okay. And I'm going to take out the title, and I'm going to change this variable to be beats per minute. And then I like to make dot plots. There's a lot of research that shows people understand dot plots better than histograms. So I'm not a big fan of histograms. They're really often confusing to people that are trying to read them. Okay. So I'm going to make the dots a little bit smaller so they all fit on my graph. But now I have a dot plot here. Let's change the titles. So edit the titles to say Spotify top songs. And so now I want to copy and paste this. Now, I didn't show you this on the last one, but to copy and paste it, you can do a screen capture. That's one way. Some students take a picture with their phone, or you can download it. So if I wanted to put the box plot there, I can just click on this. If I hover over this corner, a camera will usually appear, and that will let me take a screenshot. Okay. So here's my screenshot. Like I said, I don't like histograms. I like box plots and dot plots. And these are the beats per minute. So I labeled them, and I'm going to write a sentence. So first thing I want to write about is the shape. I see that this shape is skewed and the tail is on the right. So it's skewed to the right with a majority under 140 beats per minute. Almost 75% of our songs are under 140 beats per minute. Okay. It's also, I want to talk about the center, the typical value. Since it is skewed, we use the median, which is about 120 beats per minute. The typical song seems to have about 120 beats per minute. The spread of the graph, while you could talk about the range, that it ranges from way down here, it ranges from 72 beats per minute to a max of 206 beats per minute. I like to talk about the IQR, since that's where that middle 50%, that middle majority. So the IQR of 33.8, I got that from right here, beats per minute, shows us about 50% of the beats per minute vary. The spread shows us how much it varies from 100 to 134. And unusual, the outliers are songs with high beats per minute, fast songs, really high beats per minute, which seem to be over 180 beats per minute. These are the outliers over here. Okay, so I summarized it. I also used the median and IQR because of that previous slide. That's what I learned from skill 6, that when the distribution is skewed, we use the median and the IQR because the mean and the standard deviation aren't as reliable. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I look forward to seeing what you do. Oh, you know what? Before I go, let's talk about your assessment. So your assessment for this semester is having you analyze the census at school data. So I'm going to open that. And every student, it's going to randomly pick 2 different variables for you to analyze. So if I click on preview, the variables it's asking me to do is gender and the number of close friends. So when I look at gender, I'm going to find gender identity right here. I'm going to analyze this variable and number of close friends, which is right here, this variable. So you got to find your variables. Those are the two columns. All the rest of the columns you ignore. All right. So you do the same thing I did with the Spotify data. You make a graph for number 1, make a graph for number 2, make sure you write a sentence. And then it also asks some questions about the sample size, the mean, the median, the standard deviation, and the IQR. If you're using the apps, those will all be calculated for you. I know it's a really large data set, so don't try to do it by hand. You can just show me what the apps gave you as your response there. Okay, I hope that helps, and I look forward to seeing all your responses.